Hello everyone, I'm Justin, and for today's video, we're looking at the spring 2024 anime season. We'll be talking about which animes I'll be watching, which ones I think are worth giving it a try, which ones I think I won't be watching, and just in general, what is good for the new season. So, with that said, let's just jump right into it. First, we have the new season of Reincarnated as Slime. I mean, there's no much to say for this one. It is one of the most hyped animes of the season. It's going to be just more of the isekai life of a slime fighting against demon lords and just powerful enemies. So yeah, if you like power fantasies, this one's for you. I love this kind of shows, and it has been good so far. Then we have the second part of the second season of Mushoku Tensei. Yeah, it's again, this is one of the best isekais ever made. This is so good. The animation is incredibly good. The story is just really well paced. And even though it's a bit edgy sometimes, especially with the last part being about him trying to solve his erectile dysfunction, it is still really good, a really good show. And I think it just will be keep going because I only heard good things about the original web novel for this one. So yeah, I can expect to see what's coming next for this one. So if you are not watching it, I recommend you to give it a try first, and I'm sure you will love it. Next, we have the fourth season of Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer. I mean, what can I say? I think the first and the second seasons were incredibly good. I think the second season had such a good pace and I loved the fighting. But I think the third season was a bit of a downgrade. It didn't feel special anymore. I felt that the animation had a bit of a downgrade. So yeah, I didn't like it as much as the first and second season. But I mean, we'll see where it goes. It's still really hyped, and I know that Ufotable is still making really good animation. So I'm of course giving it more opportunity, and I hope that it improves for the past season because the past season was really disappointing. Next, we have Konosuba. Konosuba. It's again, it's one of the best isekai comedies ever made. I think by just for a comedy, I think it's my top three comedies of all time for animes. And yeah, I mean, what is there more to say? It's just the boys going into an isekai journey and doing some really dumb stuff. It's such a good show, and it's such a good laugh. I don't know what this part will be about, but it's more about just Kazuma being really dumb and the girls being really useless. So yeah, what's more to say? If you haven't watched it, give it a try. It's such a funny show. We also have the seventh season of My Hero Academia. Again, this is one of those shows that I think it started really good. Then I think by the second half of the second season, the third and fourth season, and even a bit of the fifth season was a bit bad. I think it hit like my lowest point for me was after the middle part of the fourth season. I think that's where it kind of went really down for me. But then the second half of of the fifth season and the six seasons were incredibly good. So yeah, I think it's going to a more serious side, and I really like that they are not going anymore for like, yeah, we're students and we are just training to be heroes. That this feels more like there's more stakes to it. They are fighting real villains. So yeah, this feels way more my type of shows. And if the seventh season keeps doing that, then I hope it will keep doing that because I like that. Then we have the second part of the Demon Lord Academy, I think it's called. I love the first season. I thought it was just really dumb fun, like unintentionally funny power fantasy. I think the second season was a bit of a downgrade, and I also thought that because there was so much issues with production, the show was cut in half of that, and that didn't help. So yeah, I didn't like the second season as much. Um, I don't know if the second part of the second season will be like better because I felt like the story felt complete after the first season, and the second season feels like they are trying to milk it more. So yeah, for me it wasn't as good. I will still give it a try, but it is not the same for me after the first season. Then we have the fifth season of Data Life. I think there's a good reason why a lot of these shows that came in like the early 2010s lost their popularity are not here and are not here anymore. But I feel like Data Life has like a special place in my heart. I really like this kind of show. I think it's like the rom-com harem, like really dumb rom-com harems that we loved in the 2010s. So yeah, I this one has a special place in my heart, and I really liked it. I know the premise can be kind of dumb sometimes, but I think the animation quality is still really good. And yeah, I mean, just the main guy playing a dating sim with a bunch of magical girls. What is there not to like? So yeah, for me, I love it, and yeah, I hope more people watch it because for me, it's really fun. Then we have the third season of the Irregular at Magic High School. I think for me, this one feels kind of weird because I really liked it when it came out, but then it took so long to get its second season. And now I think the third season is coming like what, like 2 years after, like maybe like a year and a half or 2 years after the second season, which is not that long compared to the difference between the first and second season, but it still feels kind of long. So like I feel like if I want to watch it, I need to go back and rewatch the first and second season because it feels like a lot of the story got lost in me, and I'm like watching it and I don't even remember half of the characters. So yeah, it feels a bit weird. I still think it's a really good show, and I like the premise of like the guy using like his brain and to like solve like equations to that make himself like really powerful or something like that. Like it's a really good idea, and how his powers look to be really bad because he's not doing them fast in the normal sense for a magician, but he's doing it like really powerful or something like that. I really don't remember because it was so long ago. But yeah, I think it was good, but it feels so long. Then we have Kaiju number 8. I don't know anything about this one. I really don't want to read the premise because I heard it is really good. I only heard good things about this one. From what I heard, it's just like a bunch of people from the government fighting against giant monsters, and then this guy becomes one of the monsters himself, and now he's fighting with them using his powers. Yeah, it feels kind of like Attack on Titan in that sense, but I don't know. I will see where it goes. I heard it is good. The animation is made by Production IG, so I of course feel that the animation should be really good. And yeah, I mean, if you like monsters fighting monsters, I'm sure this one will be for you. And yeah, I hope it proves to be as good as it sounds. Next, we have Tensei Shitarai Daina Oji Data no de Kimama Majutsu Mo Kiwamemetsu. Okay, that's one I never heard about. Let's see. The qualities valued mostly in the study of magic are bloodline, attitude, and effort. There was one sorcerer who, despite his deep love for magic, was born as a commoner, and thus lacked the bloodline and aptitude for it. As he died an unnatural death, he wished he had studied magic more, while he had the chance. Then he was reincarnated as Lloyd, the seventh priest of the kingdom of Salom, and one blessed with a strong magical bloodline. Reborn with all the memories intact, along with a perfect bloodline and immense talent, he was determined to enjoy his new life using his extraordinary magical abilities to master the study of magic that was beyond his reach and in his previous life. Okay, it feels like just a slow power fantasy, I would say. Looking at the characters, it will feel like it will probably uh, kind of like a slice of life, but still with like some magic into it. It kind of gives me the sense of like those other shows where it was like the sixth novel, the sixth son of a noble house or something like that, where it's like more about him just enjoying a slow life, but still there is like some plot and him fighting some monsters or having to prove himself against royalty or things like that. It doesn't feel that it will be too many stakes. So yeah, it feels like it will be a slow life power fantasy. But yeah, I'll see where it goes. Then we got I live a slow life in I think it's called I live a slow life with my level 2 cheat ability or something like that. I did read this one a few years ago. I only read a few chapters of the original web novel, so I don't know how far it went to. But from what I remember, so this one has a really funny initial premise. It is like this world that is summoning people to fight the demon lord, and they are like summoning right and left, like just people everywhere, and they are like looking for somebody who will have the powers of the hero. So they isekai the main protagonist of this story, and when they check his abilities, they're like, oh sorry, you are like some random guy with like some random abilities that is not worth it, so we will just send you back to your world, don't worry. But just as soon as they are like preparing to send him back, the real hero appears. So everybody stops. It's like, oh, the hero came. It's time to celebrate. And they forget completely about him. And because it was one day already, they couldn't bring him back to his old world. So he was stuck in this world. They give him some money and they just send him away. And then when he gets the level 2, he becomes super powerful, I think. And he has like a lot of like, he like becomes super strong, and he like is more powerful than the hero or something like that. And then like he also meets like the main girl that I think is like a Fenrir or something like that, and they like get together because he saves her for something or something like that. And yeah, it's like a slow life of them like just living in a small town, and a lot of like troubles coming his way. In a sense, it's similar to like the like what was the name, like thrown out from the hero party, I live a slow life. It is like kind of similar, and in this case it's also similar that the main guy has just one single love interest. There is no harem. It's just like the main guy with the main girl, they just like try to love each other and stay out of trouble, and of course a lot of trouble comes their way. So yeah, this one, it was really fun. I really liked the story at the beginning. I didn't went too far, so I assume the anime will go further than what I read. So yeah, I'm curious to see where it goes from that. And yeah, it is just a slow life, slow pace love romance. We have the remake of Spice and Wolf. For me, I didn't watch the original Spice and Wolf, so I will come kind of like with a blank state for this one. I don't know if it will be better than the original one, if it will be just a copy of the first one. But yeah, I only heard good things about this one. I heard it is similar to the hero and the demon lord, about how it's basically about economics and um one guy that he's selling, he's working as a peddler and selling his wares in through different towns, and how a goddess starts spending time with him and traveling with him. So yeah, I heard it is really good, so I can't wait to watch it. And yeah, I think I also want to come blank, so I'm not going to read the synopsis. Next, we have Mao no ore ga dorei elf wo yome ni shitanda ga do madeterabai il. Okay, it looks like it says the Demon Lord's elf slave. Okay, let's see what it goes. Sagan might be the most feared evil sorcerer, but when it comes to social interactions, he is the most inept. All those days studying the dark arts won't help him when he falls in love at first sight with Nephilia, the beautiful elven slave, and spent his entire fortune to purchase her. With no clue on how to talk to each other, the awkward arrangement for a bumbling sorcerer and a timid elf begins. Okay. Here we have an action fantasy romance. Okay, I like this type of stories. I like where it's like the guy and the girl that have like an awkward relationship, and because it is a fantasy, and of course there is slaves, they start to like close to each other, and maybe people from the past life of him, or maybe the past life of the elf, kind of like getting between them, and they try to like separate them, but they have a really strong bond. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. I like the idea. I think the premise could be good or could be bad depending on how it is developed. But yeah, I think the premise is one of those that interest me. and I will give it a try. And yeah, I think it could go wrong if it doesn't prepare itself well, but I'm of course going to give it an opportunity. Next, we have Tensai Kisoku Kantei Skill de Narigaro. Our protagonist, Ars Luband, was reincarnated in another world as the young son of a minor noble who owns a small domain. Ars was not in particularly strong or intelligent, but he was born with a appraisal skill that's able to see others' abilities and statuses. He uses his skills to find the best hidden talents in the world to make their small, weak domain into the best. An isekai tale about unification is about to start, featuring the kind hearted Ars and the unique talents he manages to find. Okay, this is a kingdom, not a kingdom building, more like a domain building. And yeah, I like this type of shows where it's not about him fighting a strong foe. It is more about how he can develop his land and make himself into a better lord of the land using his powers. So of course, I really like this kind of shows. I don't think there's that many for them. I think a good example would be the realist hero saves a kingdom. I think that one had a nice feeling to it, where it was just the hero protecting the kingdom and making it better. And I think this one will have kind of like the same sense. I don't like the idea that it's a shota, so that could go wrong in so many ways. But if it's just about the story of kingdom building and taking care of his domain, I think I would like this one. Next, we have Kamiwa Game ni Ueteru. The ultimate brain game, Game of the Gods, was created by supreme ghosts who had too much time on their hands. The first thing Rese, a former goddess who woke up from her long sleep, declares was, "Bring me the best player in this era." Faye, a boy who is considered to be the best rookie in recent years, is the one who was nominated. The Game of the Gods that the two challenge is too difficult, and no one has ever completely conquered in the human history. The gods are fickle, unreasonable, and sometimes incomprehensible, and that's exactly why it's such a waste if you don't enjoy playing it with all your heart. The ultimate brain battle against the supreme gods by Genuine Game Boy, a former god girl, and their friends begins here. Okay, we have a strategy game with high stakes. We will see. Oh, it also gives us the edge attack, of course. Okay. It gives me kind of the feelings of the Liars game that came out a few seasons ago. And I don't know, it could even have the same sense as No Game No Life. But it still feels a bit weird for me. I don't know, it's not giving me the right vibes. And I will give it a try. I think the premise doesn't give me too much to work with because it's always that the premise can be good or bad depending on how it is on how it lands. And I don't know, it doesn't give me the right feelings for this one. I think I will give it a few episodes, but I don't expect too much from this one. Then we have Yasakura San Chino Daisaku-sen. I think I heard about this one. I think it's a group of assassins, and the main guy falls in love with a girl that is just a normal girl, and he's trying to protect her, from what I remember. Let's see. Taiyo Asano has been on his own ever since his parents died, and the only one who seems to care for him is his childhood friend and classmate, Mutsumi Yosakura. But Mutsumi has a secret. She is the head of a family of spies. And on top of that, her brother Kyoichiro is dangerously protective of her. To stop Kyoichiro from killing him, Taiyo and Matsumi must have the ultimate leap marriage, because in the Yosakura family, family cannot kill family. Okay, yeah, it's something like that, but it was the girl is the part of the family. Okay. Okay, we'll see. I like this one. I think I like the premise. I like this type of shows. I think depending on how it goes, it could have either it could have kind of like the feeling of the Over the Moon for You because of the marriage sense. But it's also a bit more on the more the action because of the spice. So yeah, I think it could be good. It sounds interesting, and I like the premise. Of course, I always love some wholesome romance, and yeah, we'll see. I think I will give this one an opportunity. It looks to be really good, and yeah, I think with a few more episodes, we'll know if it's indeed as good as the premise sounds. Next, we have Deshi Konoe to Yobara Moto Eiyu wa Jika kara Tsuihou sareta no Desuki kate ni Ikuru kota ni shita. Deemed a good for nothing for his low level and lack of God given gift, Ali is stripped of his noble status and banished from the Duchy of Westfield. But Ali has a secret. He was a great hero in his previous life, and he's thrilled for the chance to finally live the way he pleases. His drama free existence, however, is uninterrupted by a desperate encounter with his ex fiancée, a former hero who still possesses the incredible powers from his past life. Alim can't ignore someone in need, no matter how much he might like to. And so begins the new heroic saga of our former hero never wanted. The premise looks tough. The premise looks uh, super generic. I don't know. I will give it one or two episodes. It looks like a trashy isekai, even though it's not technically isekai. It's still just a fantasy, a reincarnation fantasy. But still, no, it doesn't look good. Yeah, I don't like this type of shows because it just shouts super generic. Next, we have Unnamed Memory. My wish as a champion is for you to descend the tower and be my wife. Climbing the deadly tower, Oscar seeks the power of its master, the Witch of the Azure Moon. He hopes her incredible magic can break a curse that will kill any woman he takes for a wife. When the prince sees how beautiful Tinashe is, though he has a better idea since she's surely strong enough to survive his curse. She should just marry him instead. Tinashe isn't keen of the idea, but agrees to live with Oscar in the royal castle for a year while searching the spell placed on the prince. The witch's pretty face hides several lifetimes of dark secrets, however, secrets that begins resurfacing. Okay, this one again looks like a wholesome romance with some action and fantasy. Okay, I like this type of shows. I like the idea. I hope it's just about the prince courting the witch all day and trying like to make her fall for him and her being kind of timid but slowly getting closer to him because this is what it feels to me. And I hope that's the idea because I'm into that type of stuff. And yeah, I will give it a try. I think it will be good. I think with a few more episodes we'll be sure, but it looks to be good for me. Windbreaker. Okay, I heard about this one. Anyone who causes pain, who brings destruction, who holds evil in their heart will be purged by Bofurin without exception. Where the average scores are the lowest, but the fights are the strongest, Furin High School is renowned as super school for delinquents. Haruka Sakura, a first-year student, came from outside the city to fight the top. However, Haruka Sakura, a first-year student, came from outside the city to fight to the top. However, Furin High School has become a group that protects the town called Chime of the Winebreaker. The heroic legend of high school delinquent Sakura begins. Okay, I heard this one is good. It's kind of like a fighting anime with like delinquents. And yeah, I think it will give me. I think it gives me kind of like a similar vibe of Bochugiri that is airing right now, but without the fantasy elements. Just like some good old delinquents fighting each other. Which, of course, I always love that kind of show. So yeah, I will give it a try. I think it could be good. It of course depends on. I think this one would mostly depend on the how the characters are portrayed because I think the story by itself could be really good, but if the main characters doesn't have like good qualities, I think it could go wrong. Next, we have Eurocamp Season 3. Why is this so low on the popularity? I love this show. This is the peak slice of life anime. If you haven't watched the first and two seasons, I don't know what you're doing. because this one is one of my favorite shows. I just love the girls. They are so cute. I love the story. It's just like so wholesome. And yeah, it's just girls camping. In girls camping, what is there not to like? Next, we have Sasayaku Jo ni Koi wo Utao. And I see the girls love. Okay, you got me. I love some Yuri. Let's see what this is about. Bubbly, energetic, first year high school student Himari falls head over heels for her senpai Yuri after hearing her band perform on the first day of school. Himari tells Yuri she just loves her, and to Himari's surprise, Yuri says she loves Himari back. But when Himari realizes that she and her senpai are feeling two different kinds of love, she begins to ask herself what love really means. Yuri anime. What is else to say? If you love Yuri, this one's for you. I don't know why it took so long for Yuri anime to appear, but I just love Yuri. I said it. I love Yuri. So yeah, I will be watching this one for sure. Next we have The New Gate. Okay, an action adventure fantasy isekai. Okay, let's see where this goes. Let's not let the isekai tag just push us down. Okay, let's see. The New Gate, an online game transformed into a life and death struggle for the players. Thanks to the valiant efforts of Shin, the most powerful of them all, at the end of the game and freedom for everyone seem within reach. So what is this? Just Sword Art Online? But just moments after Shin defeats the game final boss, he finds himself baited in a unknown light and transported to some 500 years in the future in the game world. Thrown for a simple game gone wrong into a strange new land, one young swordman of unrivaled strength is about to embark on a legendary journey. So, what is this Sword Art Online combined with Overlord? Okay. The premise is intriguing me. As long as the story keeps itself good, we can see where this goes. Because as I told you guys before, Overlord is my favorite anime, and if this one has anything to do with that, it will be good. But of course, Overlord is special. I don't see this will be as good, but I think it could surprise us depending on how the premise develops. So yeah, I will give it an opportunity just for the premise, and let's hope it doesn't disappoint us. Next, we have Remonster. Okay, this is another one that I read. I read the original manga a few years ago, and I personally love the story. I don't even need to read the synopsis. So this one is really interesting. I think the starting premise is the only thing that I'm kind of disappointed because it never developed past that. So let me tell you what it is about. So basically, it's this assassin who has lived all his life, and he has like this girl that he likes or something like that. And then she was a yandere, so she ends up killing him. And so yeah, that's the original main premise. And then he gets isekai. That part of the yandere girl that kills him doesn't like that doesn't appear anymore in the manga, and I read really far into the manga that never takes any more part in the story, so that I kind of felt that's weird. But anyway, he reincarnates into another world as a goblin, and yeah, this is a goblin similar to Goblin Slayer, guys. So yeah, basically he becomes sentient of who he is, and he realizes that like what is happening, and he slowly realizes that as he's killing other beings, he's becoming more powerful, and he slowly is getting more strength, more intellect, and he quickly evolves, and he becomes from a goblin to a hobgoblin, and then he decides to okay, um, if I can do this, then why can't other goblins do the same? And he starts to help other goblins to become hobgoblins. And basically, he starts making them smarter. And then, like, kind of like they stop going for women for like human women. And they kill all the goblins that were like doing all that bad stuff. And then kind of become more of a civilized society, and they slowly become stronger and stronger by killing other monsters, and they evolve even more. And at some point, he becomes like an ogre instead of a goblin, and all his other friends also evolve, and all his friends become like different types of monsters. Some of them becomes like big ogres, some of them become like succubus, some of them become vampires and things like that. I think you can see some of them here. So like it's different for each one. And then even like some like female humans join them because they fall in love with him, or they fall in love with like somebody else, things like that. So yeah, it's like it looks really trashy, but the story by itself it's like super good. It is just a guy that's like it has the evolution sense of like the spider isekai, but it also has like a lot of story built into it. And I don't know how far they are going to reach in the anime, but later on it's kind of like becomes obvious that like the world is controlled by like a story, and everybody has like their own story, and then like some really powerful beings appear that like kind of have their own stories, and they shouldn't interact with each other because like they are like for different stories. And yeah, it's like the story is super convoluted, but it's so good. I really love this story. I really love the original manga. So yeah, I think the anime will be also extremely good. So if you haven't heard of this one, I think some people will be kind of pushed out because of the initial premise, because I'm sure the first episode will have like something similar to Goblin Slayer, but after that it becomes super good. So yeah, Remonster, if you haven't heard of this one, put it in your radar because it's really good. Blue Archive the animation. I know this is based of a video game, of a gacha game. I just know that there's a lot of big boob girls. I don't think I'll be watching it. I would think I'll give it one episode. But yeah, I think gacha games are most of the time not good. So yeah, I don't think I'll be watching it, but I will give it a try. Next, we have the next season of Black Butler. Okay, so I haven't watched what was it the um, the Titanic arc and the Circus arc, so I'm not going to watch this one. But it's really nice to see that there's a new season of Black Butler because this is a really of the OGs that a lot of anime fans started watching. I did watch the first season and I loved it. I watched the second one, but I know that's anime original. So yeah, I would need to watch the other arcs before watching this one. But if you have watched the other arcs, I think you will be watching this one too. So it is nice to have more of Black Butler. Next one we have Go Go Loser Ranger, I think it's called in English. So yeah, I was trying not to hear too much about this one, but then I saw it so much on Twitter. So it is basically the story of these Power Rangers guys that kind of imprisoned a lot of villains, and they use them to like fight them and look good in front of the audience. And and then one of the villains escapes, and he like infiltrates the superhero group, and he's trying to destroy them from inside. So yeah, I heard this one is really good. I saw the initial premise and it like captured me. I think it looks really good. So I will just read the premise for you guys, but yeah, I think I'll be watching this one for sure. Who is the hero and who is the villain? When the monster army invaded Earth 13 years ago, the Divine Dragon Rangers rose up to stop them. With the war raging out, with the war raging on, these great heroes are mankind's last hope. Or are they? In truth, the invaders were subjugated within a year, forced to continue to crank out a monster a week for the Rangers to crush in the front of their adoring fans. But one monster has had enough. Something has to change. He will rebel against the mighty of the Dragon Rangers and destroy them all from the inside. So yeah, it's the premise looks it looks really interesting. So yeah, I will be watching this one. This one looks really interesting for me. Then we have the third season of the the Duke of Death and his Black Maid, I think it's called. I watched the first two seasons. I think it's good. I think I personally don't like the aesthetic of the 3D animation that much, but it's still really good. I like the Ramen story. But yeah, but the 3D quality kind of puts me off a bit sometimes. And we have the third season of Hibike Euphonium, by Kyoto Animation. So you know the animation will be crispy. So yeah, I love it. I watched the first and second season. I assume this season. I also watched the movies and the what was the name, Aoi and the Bluebird. So yeah, this one is always so good, and you know Kyoto Animation is always doing a good service for it. I think it looks like it's going to be the girls becoming a third years and they like the first years joining them and they like becoming senpais. So we will see. I think just what can I say? It's so good. I hope they win something because I think the first 2 years they didn't even go to the nationals or something like that. So yeah, I hope it is good. I love I have loved all that has come from this show, and I think the third season will also be really good. And lastly, Kenka Dokugaku. I heard of this one. I think it's like learning to fight or something like that. Okay, let's see where it says. I know this is a Korean manhwa, so let's see where it goes. It's nice to have a Korean manhwa here and there because it kind of like gives you like a different vibe from the usual Japanese animes. So let's see where it goes. Scrawny high school student Hovin Yu is probably the last guy you expect to star in a YouTube channel that revolves around fighting. But after following some advice from a mysterious YouTube channel, Hovin, Hovin is soon knocking out guys stronger than him and raking in more money than he could have ever dreamed of. Can Hovin keep this up or he will eventually meet his match? So yeah, basically a guy on YouTube fighting other people. Okay, if it is just a fighting anime, I would love that. We will see, we will see. I think, as I say, it's nice to have a bit of Korean manhwas here and there to kind of give more of a diverse feeling. It will also depend on how good the fighting animation looks, because if it's as good as God of High School's quality of fighting, even if the story is not as good, it will still be enjoyable. And yeah, we'll see where it goes. So that is it, guys. This is the spring 2024 anime season, and I think we have a lot of really good animes. I think from the ones that were lower in the list, if you haven't heard of, Ring Monster will be incredibly good. And for the top, you know Mushoku Tensei, Konosuba, and Isekai Slime will be the top of the list in anything. So yeah, if these ones are for you, give them a try. I think this will be an incredibly good season with so many good animes. I think this season is stacked with a lot of incredibly good animes. So yeah, spring 2024 anime season. I'm looking forward to it. And guys, let me know what you think. Do you think I missed any good animes? Do you think any anime I talked about is not worth watching? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, I'll see you guys next time.